The wake-up call *. John opened his eyes slowly. His head hurt. His body felt weak. The light above was soft and blue, not like the sun back on Earth. Something was heavy on his chest. He blinked again. Then he saw her, a woman or something that looked like a woman was on top of him. Her skin was silver blue. Her eyes were bright yellow, like two glowing suns. Her hands were pressed on his chest, and strange symbols glowed on her arms. John tried to move, but he COULDN single quotes D double quotes. Who are you? He asked, his voice rough and dry. The woman looked into his eyes and said only one word. You were dying. John's heart jumped. Dying? How? Where was he? What happened? He looked around. The room was clean, white, and quiet. Strange machines stood near the walls. One beeped slowly. Another blinked green lights. The bed under him felt too soft, like memory. Foam but better. Where ... Am I? He asked again. You're safe, for now, the woman said. I'm your housekeeper. John stared at her. Housekeeper? That's not a housekeeper. What are you doing on top of me? She stood up slowly. Her long hair floated behind her like it was underwater. She wore a tight suit made of soft metal. She looked both beautiful and deadly. I was repairing you, she said. Repairing? He repeated. I'm not a machine. She tilted her head. Aren't you? John sat up, fighting the dizziness. Tell me what's going on. Right now. The woman took a step back. I found your body on the edge of the crater. Your heart had stopped. Your memory chip was damaged. I brought you here. Crater? Memory chip? John's mind spun. I'm human. You were, she said softly. A cold chill went through him. He looked at his hands. They looked normal. He touched his face. Still human. Then, he noticed the strange lines on his arm. Thin blue lights, like tiny circuits, ran under his skin. What did you do to me? He whispered. I saved you, she said, but I had to change some things. John tried to stand. His legs shook but held. Why? Why would you do that? Because they are coming, she said. And if you die, we all die. Before he could ask more, the lights in the room turned red. A loud beep echoed through the walls. Motion detected. Outside perimeter. Non-human signal. The woman turned toward the door. They found us. Who? Are they? John asked. The ones who killed you the first time. He felt like the air had been punched out of his lungs. Killed me. The woman nodded. You don't remember, but they will. John's knees went weak. He leaned on the wall. His thoughts raced. Who were these enemies? What did they want? Why was he so important? The woman walked to a panel on the wall. It opened with a soft hiss. She pulled out a small black cube and handed it to him. Keep this close, she said. If they breach the walls, use it. It will help you remember. John stared at the cube. It pulsed gently, like it had a heartbeat. I don't want to remember, he said. I want answers now. There's no time, she said. There. Almost here. Suddenly, the floor shook. A boom echoed through the house. Dust fell from the ceiling. John turned to her. What's your name? She looked at him. Her eyes glowed brighter. I was not given a name, she said. But you once called me Hope. John froze. Another boom. Louder this time. The housekeeper stood tall and walked toward the door. You trusted me once, she said. You'll have to trust me again. John looked at the cube in his hand. Then he looked at the strange woman who had just saved his life. Maybe, or maybe not. Outside, the shadows moved, and they were not human. The housekeeper's secret. John was dreaming, but it didn't feel like a dream. He was running through fire. Soldiers around him were shouting in a strange language. The sky was black. Ships burned in the air. He looked down at his hands and saw they were made of metal. Then someone grabbed his arm and said, Wake up, Commander. John gasped and sat up. He was back in the strange house. The cube the housekeeper gave him was glowing on the table. The room lights were dim now on power save mode. Everything was quiet. Too quiet. He heard soft humming from the kitchen. John stood and walked slowly, carefully toward the sound. There she was. The housekeeper hoped that she was not cleaning. Not cooking. She was standing in front of a wall panel, one hand pressed against it. Her body glowed softly. Symbols were floating in the air around her fingers like digital magic. He stayed hidden, watching. Then she spoke. Override memory locks. Level 3, permission, personal connection. John stepped forward. What are you doing? Hope turned fast, her face calm but unreadable. You should be resting. You were unlocking something, he said. Memory locks. What memory? She didn't answer right away. Then she looked him in the eyes and said, yours. John felt cold again. What do you mean? You said I had memory damage. You did, she said. But not by accident. It was done to protect you. Protect me from what? Hope walked toward him. From who you really are. He backed away. No more strange answers. I want the truth. Hope paused. Then she said quietly, you were a soldier. But not just any soldier. You were part of the last human fleet. The final war. You were injured in battle and left behind. John shook his head. I would remember that. You do, she said. But I locked it. Because remembering too early can kill you. John pointed at her. And you? What are you? She took a deep breath. I was made to serve. I was built to clean, cook, obey. But I was born for something else. John frowned. Born? I'm not fully machine. She said. I'm half organic. My kind were banned, called too dangerous. He stared. So you're not just a housekeeper? No, she said. I was a bioshield technician, a war companion. I was assigned to protect you during the final days. And now you live in a house with me? He asked. I waited, she said, until the war ended, until I could bring you back. John stepped closer. Bring me back from death? Yes, I rebuilt your mind, your body, but some parts I couldn't fix. That's why the cube exists. John looked at the cube again. It's a key, isn't it? She nodded. A memory trigger. When you're ready. Suddenly, the house shook again. This time, lights flickered. A siren rang. Intrusion alert. Zone 4 breached. Hope turned fast and moved to the wall panel. They're inside the outer field. John grabbed her arm. You said I'm important. Why? Hope stared at him. Because inside your mind, you hold the codes to the last defense system Earth ever built. John's jaw dropped. And they want it, she said. Your enemies, the ones who left you to die. He whispered, what do I do now? Hope looked at him with strange sadness. You remember, she said. You fight. The floor began to shake. Shadows moved behind the glass window. Shapes tall, insect-like creatures with glowing red eyes were getting closer. John picked up the cube. It felt warm. Then it whispered in his head. Hello, Commander. System ready. The visitors. John wasn't breathing, not because he was hurt, but because the world had gone silent. Outside the glass window, something was watching him. It wasn't blinking. It wasn't moving. It just stood there, like a shadow frozen in time. Then, with a sharp mechanical sound, the glass began to crack. Hope pulled him back. Do not look into their eyes, she whispered. John stumbled. What are they? Hope didn't answer. Instead, she pressed her fingers to the wall. A blast shield dropped over the window with a loud clang. They are not alive, she finally said. Not like you and me, but they remember. John clenched the small cube in his hand. It was glowing stronger now. His chest felt tight. His heartbeat wasn't just fear, it was something else. A signal, a memory waking up. A voice echoed in his mind. You faced them before. They killed your Team, don't let them finish the job. He shook his head. Why are they here now? After so long? Hope turned. Because I activated you. The sirens in the house grew louder. A robotic voice spoke. Level 1 security breach. Perimeter defense failing. Estimated time, 3 minutes. John followed Hope through the hallway. The house wasn't just a home, it was a bunker. Walls open to reveal hidden weapons, tools, wires glowing with old energy. Wait, he said. You said they aren't alive. Then what are they? Hope stopped and looked at him. They are the leftovers of war. Machines made from stolen mines. The last enemy fleet used them to hunt survivors. You destroyed most of them, but not all. John stared at her. Why do I feel like I know that already? Because it's in you, she said. Memories. From before, a low humming sound shook the walls. Like a swarm of giant bees crawling over the roof. Hope handed him a small wristband. Put this on, it will link you to the house. John snapped it on. Instantly, lights flashed around him. A digital map appeared in the air, showing red dots moving closer, dozens of them. Too many, he said. Hope smiled. Then it's just like old times. John almost laughed, but the next second, part of the ceiling exploded. A creature dropped in. It wasn't tall, but wide like a walking wall of black metal. Its face had no eyes, just a red glow where its mouth should be. It scanned the room and pointed at John. Genetic match confirmed. Begin extraction. John raised his hands. What extraction? The creature moved forward. Its arms shifted into long silver needles. Hope jumped in front of John and shouted in a strange language. The creature paused. Then a deep voice echoed from it. Unauthorized. Guardian detected. Eliminating unit. Hope 77. Before John could react, the creature fired a bolt of energy. Hope took the hit. She flew back, crashed into the wall, and didn't move. John screamed. No, he ran to her side. Her body was sparking. Her eyes flickered. You must run, she said weakly. You're not ready yet. John turned. The creature was walking toward him. Step by step. Then the cube in John's hand flashed bright, white, blinding light. And time. Stop. The room froze. Even the creature stopped moving. John stood up slowly. A voice inside his mind was calm and strong. Override accepted. Commander system online. The cube disappeared, melted into his palm. John looked at his hands. They were glowing, and he remembered his name. Not just John. Commander John. Riker, Earth's last shield. He looked at the frozen creature, then smiled. Round 2, he whispered. Memories that aren't mine. John woke up standing. He wasn't in the house anymore. He was in the middle of a battlefield. Smoke, fire, screams in the air. Soldiers ran past him. They were not human. Some had wings, some had silver arms. But they all wore the same symbol on their chest, a red circle with a line through it. Then he heard his own voice. Hold the line. They want Earth, let them try. He turned. Another. John stood beside him, older, armored, with scars on his face and rage in his eyes. Then the dream cracked like glass, and John fell backward into the real world. He hit the floor of the house hard, gasping for air. The memory had ended, but the pain stayed. Hope was beside him in seconds. You touched the wrong file, she said. That memory wasn't ready. John coughed. That wasn't my memory. Yes, she said quietly. It was. He sat up slowly. But I saw me. Talking. Leading. Fighting. I've never done that. You have, she said. But I locked it away. John looked at her. Why? Because the truth is heavier than the memory. He stood still, shaky. Then tell me now, no more lies. Hope looked tired. She sat on the edge of the table and spoke softly. You were one of the first to be chosen. Earth's last commanders. You were enhanced, trained, and uploaded with battle programs. You became ... more than human. John laughed bitterly. Then why don't I feel like more than human now? Because I broke the program, she said. I took out the parts that made you forget who you were. I wanted to bring you back, not the weapon. John frowned. So, you went against your orders? I went against the system, she said. For you. There was a long silence. Then he asked, what about the dreams? Why do I keep seeing people I've never met? Hope looked away. Because those people are dead now. But their memories, some of them were copied into you. You carry the last thoughts of your team. John's face went pale. I carry the minds of the dead? Not all of them, she said. Just pieces, voices, skills, enough to fight. John stood, looking down at his hands. I don't know who I am anymore, he whispered. You're the only one left who can stop this, she said suddenly. The lights flickered again. A hologram appeared in the room, a woman in white armor, half her face covered by a mask. She spoke in a cold voice. John Riker, your signal has been reactivated. Return now, or we will erase you. Hope stood. That's the control unit. She's the one who erased your memories. The hologram continued. Your memories are no longer your property. You are not a man. You are a tool. Return to the system. John stared at the image. What did they do to me? Hope answered for him. They turned you into a living weapon. But I stole you back before they could finish. The hologram paused, then said, You were our greatest project, John. Come back, or be destroyed. The image vanished. The silence. After was heavy. John turned to Hope. I don't want to be a weapon, he said. But I won't be their slave either. She nodded. Then it's time you decide who you want to be. John walked to the window. Outside, the world was quiet again. But deep inside him, the voices were waking up. Some were scared. Some were angry. But one voice whispered clear and calm. Finish what we started, Commander. The betrayal code asterisk. The first word John heard was traitor. He wasn't sure who said it. Maybe it came from his own mind, or maybe from one of the silent voices inside him, the ones he never invited. He sat alone in the storage room, staring at the cube's pieces. It had melted into his hand, but now it was rebuilding itself. Floating metal bits turned slowly in the air, forming shapes he didn't recognize, but somehow understood, like muscle memory from a life he didn't choose. Hope entered the room without a sound. I found something, she said. Something you need to see. John followed her to the back of the house, a part he hadn't seen yet. The door was hidden behind a fake wall. It opened only when Hope pressed her palm and spoke an old password. Inside, darkness. Then lights flickered on. John's eyes widened. There were files, hundreds, glowing orbs, each spinning in place on floating shelves. Labels in a language he barely remembered. What is this? He asked. This, Hope said, is your past. The part they didn't delete. John stepped closer. Some orbs glowed red. Some flickered weakly. One orb pulsed like a heartbeat. He reached for it, but Hope stopped him. Not that one. Not yet. John frowned. Why? What's in it? Her eyes lowered. Your last mission. The one where everything went wrong. John ignored her and grabbed the orb. The world around him vanished. Suddenly, he was standing in a command room. Earth Command HQ. He saw himself older again, giving orders. Behind him, a team of 5, all elite. All watching him with loyalty. Then, a message came through. Location of the betrayal code secured. Ready for activation. John's memory self turned to the team. Good, prepare for download. But someone in the team, someone in the back, touched a hidden button and whispered, Target acquired. Beginning overwrite. Everything shook. Lights went red. Gunfire. Screams. John spun around, but the memory cut off. He was yanked back into the present, falling to his knees. He looked up at Hope, breathing hard. One of them betrayed me. Hope nodded. Yes, that's why you don't remember. You were shut down before you could fight back. But how did I survive? I broke in. I saved you, she said. But I couldn't stop the code from entering your body. John stood, shaking. Wait. The betrayal code, it's inside me? Yes, she said. It was designed to wake up when you remembered the truth. And now ... it's alive. Suddenly, his wristband beeped. Self-destruct sequence. Armed. Commander override required. John's face turned pale. The code is trying to kill me from inside. Hope moved fast, plugging a device into his wrist. I can delay it, but not for long. What happens if it finishes? You explode, she said, and everything around you goes with it. John laughed just once, dry and bitter. Of course, why not? Hope looked at him. We have one option. What? Find the betrayer. The one who gave the code. Only they have the shutdown key. John asked, where do we find them? Hope looked at the glowing orb again, the one she told him not to touch. There, she said. But if we go into that memory, you'll see everything. Even the people you failed to save. John didn't blink. Good, he said. I want to remember who I'm fighting for. The attack the house screamed before it died. Every wall pulsed red. Every screen showed one word, breached. And then, silence. John didn't move. He was in the memory chamber, standing next to Hope. The orb he touched was still glowing beside them, showing a frozen image of his old team. The memory had just revealed the traitor's face. Someone John once called brother. Hope whispered, they know. The code sent a signal. John nodded slowly. They're coming. Before Hope could answer, the ground beneath their feet rumbled. Not shook, rumbled. Like something massive was crawling under the floor. Then came the sound, clank, 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 metal footsteps, hundreds of them. Surrounding the house, John turned to the wall panel. Can the defense shields hold? No, Hope said. Not against this kind of force. A long pause. Then we fight, John said. The front wall of the house exploded inward, launching fire and smoke across the hallway. John dived, rolled, and grabbed the plasma blade that had dropped from the weapon cache. 3 enemy machines stepped through the smoke. Each had 6 legs, no face, and long curved arms ending in spinning drills. John didn't wait. He moved. Not like a human, dash faster. The blade in his hand hummed. Blue light shooting through the air. The first machine dropped. The second fired a needle dart. John dodged and drove the blade into its core. The third reached for him, then exploded. Hope stood behind it, arm outstretched, steam rising from her palm. Her voice was flat. You remember how to fight. I'm not sure it's me doing it, John said, breathing hard. It's like someone else is controlling my body. It's all you, she said, but parts of you that were asleep. Suddenly, the roof above ripped open. A massive shadow dropped into the room, twice the size of the others. Heavy, slow, and humming with raw energy. Hope's eyes widened. That's a harvester, John blinked. What's it do? It doesn't kill, she said. It takes minds. John stepped forward. Let's see it try. The harvester's chest opened. A thin beam of green light hit John in the forehead. Froze. Asterisk. Asterisk inside his mind. He was back in Earth Command, only this time he couldn't move. He watched helplessly as the traitor, his former friend, placed the betrayal code in his drink. He's too dangerous, the man said, even for us. Then the memory looped again and again. He's too dangerous. ... Suddenly, a sharp voice cut through the loop. Hope's voice. John, fight it. You are not a machine. He focused, pushed, and then he broke free. Back in the real world, John screamed and slammed his blade into the harvester's chest. Boom. The explosion shook the entire house. Smoke, fire, sparks. Hope crawled over to John. He was bleeding, breathing hard. But alive. You beat a harvester, she said. Without backup, that's impossible. John looked at his shaking hands. No, he said. It's just the beginning. Behind them, a wall cracked open, revealing a secret pod. Glowing blue. Inside, a message capsule. Hope's face turned pale. This wasn't in the blueprint, she whispered. John picked it up. A familiar voice came from it. If you're hearing this, John, it means the failsafe failed. And I didn't make it, but I left you something. The shutdown key. John's hands tightened around the capsule. He looked at Hope. I think we're going to end this. Who am I now? John was standing in front of himself, not a mirror. Not a dream, a perfect copy. Same face, same voice. Same scar on the eyebrow, but colder, smiling without warmth. Eyes full of power, not pain. The copy spoke first. You don't belong here anymore. John clenched his fists. What are you? I'm what you were before the rewrite, it said. No fear. No guilt. No weakness. Just orders and control. Hope stepped beside John. It's the backup, she whispered. The system made a clone, just in case you went soft. John smirked. So I'm the broken version? No, Hope said. You're the human one. The copy stepped forward. Give me the shutdown key. Return control. We'll make you whole again. John shook his head. You don't get it. I don't want to be whole like you. I want to be free. The copy's eyes narrowed. Freedom is chaos. You were built for purpose, for war. John stared back. Then maybe I wasn't built right. Suddenly, the house began to collapse. Explosions from the earlier fight weakened the structure. Fire spread through the walls. John pulled out the capsule. Hope watched him closely. If you use that, she said, the betrayal code dies. But so does everything that's tied to, including your enhancements. John paused. That meant no more perfect reflexes. No more downloaded memories. No more power. Just being human again. The copy laughed. Go ahead. Break yourself. You'll be useless. John looked at the flames. Then at Hope. She was damaged, her systems failing. Her glow dimmer now. But she saved him, not the soldier in him. Not the weapon, the man. John made his choice. He pressed the capsule. The copy screamed, no. A wave of light burst through the room, pure, white, clean. The clone shattered into pixels. The machines outside fell silent. John collapsed. Hours passed. John opened his eyes, lying on the grass outside the burned house. The sky was orange, quiet. Hope was beside him. Her body flickered, weak. You used the shutdown, she said. You chose to be human. John nodded. I don't need old battles or fake strength. I just want to live my own life. Hope smiled faintly. Then you're stronger than any commander ever was. Her body began to fade. No, he said, grabbing her hand. Don't go. I was made to protect the soldier, she said. You're not a soldier anymore. My job is done. John held her hand tighter. You're wrong, he said. You're not just a machine. You're my friend. Hope's eyes shined one last time. Thank you for seeing me, and then she was gone. John sat alone under the stars that night. No house. No powers. No army. Just him and the silence. And for the first time since he woke up with a stranger on top of him, he felt like he finally knew who he was. I wasn't saved to keep fighting. I was saved to choose something better.